Page 1. Evolution: A Theory in Crisis, Michael Denton, 1985. Nature, inexhaustible in fecundity and omnipotent in its works, has been settled in the innumerable combinations of organic forms and functions which compose the animal kingdom by physiological incompatibilities alone. It has realized all those combinations which are not incoherent, and it is these incompatibilities, this impossibility of the coexistence of one modification with another, which establish between the diverse groups of organisms those separations, those gaps, which mark their necessary limits and which create the natural embranchments, classes, orders, and families. Georges Cuvier, 1835. I can see no limit to the amount of change to organic beings which may have been effected in the long course of time through nature's power of selection. Charles Darwin, 1859. Preface. The question of evolution is generating more controversy and argument today than at any other time since the great debate in the 19th century. At prestigious international symposia, in the pages of leading scientific journals, and even in the sober galleries of the British Natural History Museum, every aspect of evolution theory is being debated with an intensity which has rarely been seen recently in any other branch of science. It is not hard to understand why the question of evolution should attract such attention. The idea has come to touch every aspect of modern thought, and no other theory in recent times has done more to mold the way we view ourselves and our relationship to the world around us. The acceptance of the idea 100 years ago initiated an intellectual revolution more significant and far-reaching than even the Copernican and Newtonian revolutions in the 16th and 17th centuries. The triumph of evolution meant the end of the traditional belief in the world as a purposeful created order, the so-called teleological outlook which had been predominant in the Western world for 2 millennia. According to Darwin, all the design, order and complexity of life and the eerie purposefulness of living systems were the result of a simple blind random process, natural selection. Before Darwin, men had believed a providential intelligence had imposed its mysterious design upon nature, but now chance ruled supreme. God's will was replaced by the capriciousness of a roulette wheel. The break with the past was complete. Because of its influence on fields far removed from biology, the current problems in evolution theory have been widely publicized and have captivated the public imagination to the extent that topics such as the gaps in fossil record or competing methodologies and taxonomy, subjects which would normally be considered obscure and esoteric, are discussed in detail in popular magazines and even the daily press. Any suggestion that there might be something seriously wrong with the Darwinian view of nature is bound to excite public attention, for if biologists cannot substantiate the fundamental claims of Darwinism, upon which rests so much of the fabric of 20th century thought, then clearly the intellectual and philosophical implications are immense. Small wonder, then, that the current tumult in biology is arousing such widespread interest. Basically, there are two different philosophical approaches to the debate. On the one hand, one can adopt the conservative position and view the difficulties as essentially trivial, merely puzzling anomalies, that will all be eventually reconciled somehow to the traditional framework. Alternatively, one can adopt a radical position and view the problems not as puzzles, but as counter-instances or paradoxes which will never be adequately explained within the orthodox framework, and indicative therefore of something fundamentally wrong with the currently accepted view of evolution. While most evolutionary biologists who have written recently about evolution concede that the problems are serious, nearly all take an ultimately conservative stand, believing that they can be explained away by making only minor adjustments to the Darwinian framework. In this book I have adopted the radical approach. By presenting a systematic critique of the current Darwinian model, ranging from paleontology to molecular biology, I have tried to show why I believe that the problems are too severe and too intractable to offer any hope of resolution in terms of the orthodox Darwinian framework, and that consequently the conservative view is no longer tenable. Page 13.